on in, guys.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of RRH.
Raw Reality of a Hustler.
I'm Donna.
And I'm Erica.
And this is Jerry.
Nice to meet you.
Hi Jerry. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, where you came from, or how old are you?
So I am 31 years old. Parents immigrated from El Salvador to LA, MacArthur Park area. And then when I turned about 12, 13, I came out to the Valley. Been here ever since. So that's why businesses are in this area, Canoga Park-ish area, because I have that connection there. And yeah, just happy dad.
How many kids?
I have 4 kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
So,
know,
yeah. That's
Wow.
it. Everybody's reaction.
I
Yeah.
know, we're like, wow.
I actually have a kid who's about to be 15.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next
Wow.
reaction. So yeah, you know, awesome kids. My lady's the best, and everything else kind of just flows out of there. Class clown growing up, and I've never wanted to quit that. So I still
Nice.
continue
Wow.
that route, and I'm in a profession that allows me to do that. So I'm
Yeah.
happy about that.
Nice.
Well, I think you kind of touched on my next question, which is kind of a fun question, which is how would others describe you as?
It depends who you ask.
I know, right?
It always depends who you ask. If you ask my kids, they might say Superman. If you ask somebody that's not on my good graces, they might say an asshole. I mean, just it's
That's
really,
very true though.
It's really gonna vary. I just try to be the best person I can be in a sense. A lot of my mom's character rubs off on me, so making people laugh is a big one for me, and making people just feel comfortable near you. That's a big one for me.
I don't think you touched it earlier, so instead of me saying, can you tell us the business that you're gonna be?
Oh, well, Generation Cuts, Barbershop.
Mhm.
We have about 4 years running now. Started in the bottom. Literally, I walked into my mom's beauty salon once. She's had 6 beauty salons, but the one she has right now is in Chatsworth. She's been doing it for 40 years. And I walked in to visit her, and I just happened to see that only half of her stations, like right here we have 11 stations, but only the right half was being used on her location. So I kind of asked her, would she mind me build some walls? And kind of enclose a little space to make a mini barbershop. No lobby, no nothing.
Oh, I was actually gonna ask. So I know you said it's 4 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
When you started, I know you said this one, right?
Yeah, this
one's
is like
first
the
baby,
official one.
where we are.
Yes, this the Winnetka location is the official one, and then like the genius that I am, 2 weeks before a pandemic, I decided to open a shop, which
Oh,
was
your second one.
yeah. I literally went from the highest mountain top to like the deepest valley in a matter of
Okay.
weeks once they announced the pandemic
COVID,
had
yeah.
hit. Yeah,
And
I mean,
we'll touch on that a little bit later, because yeah, it played a huge role in a lot of businesses. So that would be good to know how it affected you and how you overcame that. Let's talk a little bit about. I mean, it's not easy, right? Opening up a
No.
business of your own. I'm sure there's a lot of licensing, back end stuff, and training that you might have needed.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about that and what it took?
Well, when it comes to training, I happen to be in the service industry. So the service industry, there's certain things you can't teach, as that's what I like to say it, the way I like to say it. It's either you have manners or you don't. It's either you know how to treat somebody right or you don't. It's not something that like you can train into somebody. So because we are in the service industry, I think that most of the training is just good-hearted manners, respect. Everything else kind of flows. Licensing is easy. I mean, I'm not gonna one of those guys that say that's difficult. Go to Van Nuys. It's gonna cost you like $36. Register your name, get a DBA, file your establishment license with the state board. You just need a copy of your leasing agreement to make sure that there is an actual brick and mortar. It's not that difficult, literally. Now the actual running the business, that's the
the hard
frustrating part, because you're dealing with egos, personalities, people. I feel like if you have an office job, your computer, if you type A is what comes out. But with people, you sometimes type A and F comes out, and you're just like, and now you have to do this puzzle, because they don't tell you what they're feeling, they don't tell you what they want, they don't tell you what they care about necessarily. And then it's just like you're now working a room, kind of like a basketball coach has to not be the player. You're not out there dunking, but you can only influence up to a certain degree and then hope that they perform. So
that leads me to the next question. So you have 2 shops right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the overhead cost of opening a shop, all the equipment that goes in the shop, and how quickly did you get your return on investment?
Every shop is going to be different. So every shop is different. The cost can go from $20,000 if you want to do super conservative. Like
simple shop.
Yeah, and not just simple shop, but like literally the cheapest of cheap, the cheapest of the stations, the cheapest of the mirrors. If they have a floor already there and you don't like the floor, but you're like, you know what, we can do that in 2 years when profits start turning. So it depends on that. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't see coming into this is the first month and last month rent is included in the deposit. So let's say that you finally saved up $20,000. You think you're gonna spend $20,000. In reality, off the bat, you're down to $15,000. First day of business and $5,000 evaporates. Then you have to call Department of Water and Power. Well, in order for you to set up your DWP, that's gonna be $800. So that's let's just say almost $1,000. Yeah. So you're down to $14,000 in one day, and you had $20,000. You were so rah that you turned your stimmy check into crypto, and like, oh, I got 20 grand. And then after, you're just like, I don't have 20 grand. And then, I mean, for those that want to do a barbershop, you have to remember everything is multiplied by 6 if you want to start off with 6 stations. So you say, oh, a mirror is only $70. 70 times 6. That's the mirror. The light on top of the mirror. Okay, well, that's another 60. Okay, well, 60 times 6. Everything is multiplied by 6. You say, oh, I'm gonna get a new barber chair. That's $600. No, that's 600 multiplied by 6. So your 20,000 that you felt so proud of dwindles immediately, and then you think about like the window, the signage. Well, that's $3-4 grand. And then with the signs outside on the top and the neon signs or whatever you want to do. So, I mean, in a matter of your first week in business, the 20,000 you were holding just feels like oil going through the cracks of your fingers. So, you have to get extremely creative. You have to have the right people, I think, around you to kind of just remind you that it's going to pay off. And then your mental state has to be almost warish. Whatever it takes, whatever you have to do. But the startup cost for the cheapest of barbershops is going to be, I want to say conservatively, $22,000, $23,000. And the problem with that is that you're going to build a shop that nobody wows at. Has absolutely no wow factor. And I would suggest that to somebody who maybe already has clientele, maybe has a couple barber friends that are like, oh no, we have our own clientele. They're not going to come because of the razzle dazzle. They're going to come because they love us. They have a relationship they build with us. And then once money starts flowing in, then you can move on to the next levels. But if you're really going to wing it and be 100% dependent on the wow factor, you better have about $35,000 in the bank account. For somebody that's going to lend it to you. Everything here started off of a loan for me. I grabbed a $6,000 loan to build that little room inside of my mom's spot. I had a customer who actually told me he was uncomfortable at the barbershop where I was, but it wasn't the most professional shop to be at. And that's cool for a certain crowd, but then I had a lot of doctors and lawyers and police officers, and they'd come in and they'd see some stuff that were just like, hey bro, I can't be associated here. Like, they're scared. I grew up in Canoga, so I was just like, oh no, that's just Frank. Like, what? Like, yeah, that's Mark. What are you talking about? I know his mom. But he just finally was just like, how can I help you? Because he was doing good. He's just like, how can I help you? And I was just like, man, you let me borrow $6,000. I'll give it to you before the end of the year. This was somewhere in, I think March, somewhere like that. But yeah, so he was just, I told him, I'll give it to you plus interest. He gave me up to a year to pay. I think like by 8 months, I had given him everything back plus interest. So needless to say, I had a good amount of support at that time. You have to understand, look in the mirror that you're taking from somebody.
Yeah.
That's somebody's vacation, that's somebody's kids' vacations, that's somebody's kids' tuition if they go to private school. So, if you're not 100% committed to live, breathe, sleep, you're on the restroom thinking about the business, you're showering thinking about the business, allowing your brain to be 100% consumed, then stay out of business. Just go get a job where, they're going to tell you what to do, when to do, and you get to go home at 5 and not think about it till 9 the next day. So, yeah, that's
good advice.
Let's get into, so this question might be a little bit different because I don't know if you're still marketing overall for the shop or everyone kind of markets for themselves, or
yes.
If you're still cutting, but I guess tell us a little bit about the marketing that goes on behind the shop.
Man, I wish I could be a marketing guy. I'm 31, and the majority of my barbering career, we didn't have to do TikTok videos in the back. We didn't have to, do all this stuff, where now it's like, if you don't have that, you're not killing it. And I struggle with that curve specifically, because when people sit in my chair, that's what I'm good at. I'm good at face-to-face, reading your eyes. If you want me to shut the hell up, or if you want, if you look like you need somebody to make you laugh that day, I'm good at those type of moments where it's just like, let's talk, And with a lot of the social media that's going on right now, because marketing technically is now social media, I'm just way, way, way behind. And I see other people and I'm like, man, I wish I could do that, or I thought of that, but I didn't know how to take it from A to Z.
Articulate it, in a video.
So little things like that, I think that that kind of hold me back. But where I do thrive in marketing, I mean, everyone who is my customer has a story. Jerry met me at Best Buy. Jerry met me at the Vallarta. Jerry met me, like, I remember when I was starting off, I used to be like, I would go to the Vallarta and I would tell the security guard, I'm not here to steal anything, but I will be here for a while. And then he'd just look at me and I'll be like, look, I'm gonna give you a free haircut. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a free haircut. And he'd just be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, look, I'm gonna pick conversations with people in the aisles. And I'm not a weirdo. Like, you have to really break it down to him. I'm not a weirdo. It's just, I'm good at, this is what I'm good at, so I want to take advantage. And he'd be like, yeah, I don't care, bro. Like, I'm getting paid minimum wage, so I don't care. Do your thing. So I would go, right? And if I would see, for example, like a mom with a kid, I would, and she's like at the cereal, I would be like, oh, you like that cereal, buddy? Oh, yeah. How about these? Yeah, these are my favorite, Cookie Crisp and blah, blah, blah. And then like a minute into it, before that peak where it's just like, why are you still talking to me? I would kind of sense it and I'd be like, hey, so the reason, before I leave, I would always say like, oh, before I leave, I just want to let you know, I specialize in kid cuts. I specialize in it, whatever they had, I specialized in. If you had a beard, I specialize in beards. My God, I could do so much with that. So it was just being there for hours after work. And that's what I mean. That's when I knew that really I was meant for this. Like I said, my mom's had, multiple beauty salons, and I was so embarrassed growing up. Like, put my hands on my face, because we'd be at Red Lobster and they'd bring the bill and she'd like grab the girl's hand and she'd bring her in like, your roots are about a month overdue.
Oh my God.
And then she like slide her the business card and be like, girl, I can hook you up. Like, just call me. I can fit you into my schedule. And I would just be right there like, oh, Lord Jesus. Like, it was crazy because eventually every waiter knew my mom. Every cashier person knew my mom. It doesn't matter where we go to this day. If we walk anywhere in Canoga Park, we hear it down the block like Doña Isabelita and and I'm just right there like, you know what? That equals money. People knowing you equals money. So if you want money, you kind of have to do that. So my marketing has always been that way. To this day, I mean, I think I spent this week, I think I spent somewhere around 11 hours at the mall, right outside the mall, and just talking to people about the business. And it's stuff that maybe other business owners think, I don't have to do that no more. I can pay people. But it's one of the things that I kind of like, I'm good at. So I enjoy going out there and doing it.
So I can tell that you're very passionate about your shops, both of your shops. But tell us why we should choose to go to Generations Guts over somebody else.
I would restructure the question because I don't want you just to come to my shop. I want you to find the shop that is for you. Mm-hmm. So every barbershop has a different personality. Normally, it tends to stem out of the owner. So, for example, you guys go to beauty salons and nail salons, and if you pay attention, the vibe of the shop always kind of like is an extension of the owner. Yeah. Whether it's a very funny shop, whether it's very quiet and reserved. When you come to my shop, there's a lot of clowning. If you're thin-skinned, you're gonna be like in shock, and I wouldn't want you to feel a certain way, like coming here and feel a certain way. But the answer to your question is definitely come check it out. If it fits you and you feel comfortable and it makes you feel happy and you like the music and the variety of music, you could walk in here one day and I'm playing country, and then the next haircut we're playing cumbias, and then the next one Metallica, and the next one. So because we are that way and we don't have like necessarily like, we're not gonna try to just make you happy. We are who we are. Like it, enjoy our barbers. I have an amazing staff, so enjoy them. But if you don't enjoy them, that's okay too. Yeah. We're just not gonna flip the shop upside down for every person who says that they don't like the shop.
Sure, that's good. So I think you've touched on some of these points, but what would you say is one of the hardest things that you've had to do running your own business?
Hardest things to do.
Or one of the hardest things.
Look, my hardest challenge, and anyone who knows me knows this, I'm always thinking about tomorrow. I don't live today. I don't live yesterday. I'm always thinking about the next project, the next thing. I don't dwell on things. And even though that helps me to have some sort of vision for the shop, it hurts me today because I'm not the most organized person. Because I'm already thinking about the next project. They're like, bro, we haven't finished this project. I'm like, yeah, but the next one is going to have this and that. And so there's certain things that hurt me and when it comes to that aspect. But because of they called it ADHD when I was younger, but I'm always the salesman. I'm always like, tomorrow on the go, and this would be great, and can we do this? But then the steps to get there, I just wing the shit out of it. And that hurts me a lot because sometimes I get to my destination and then I have to pay fees because I skip certain things.
You're gonna backtrack.
And then so that to me has been the biggest cause of concern. I hope that people that are watching don't think that they need to be perfect in order to start a business. Jump off the cliff, figure it out. If you smack your head around a couple times, that's fine. It's part of life. But I'd rather smack my head around trying to build my dream than somebody else's.
Moving on to, I know you mentioned you had opened your second shop right before COVID.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
So going into this difficult topic, how did COVID really affect you, and how were you able to, I guess, get back on your feet after it?
Just reminding yourself about the big picture. If you think about a year, everything that happened in a year, it might look like the worst year ever. If I look back at the last 10 years, then it's just a little speck in my, in the stocks. Stock dipped a little bit, but you bought early, so you're still winning. And I would try to mentally put myself right first, because everything is going to stem out of that. The way that the employees react, everything, they're looking at you. Something happens at the house, the kids are looking at mom and dad. If they freak out, forget about it. Kids are going to run around with their heads, in a million places. So I guess the first step for me was just processing it. I remember the day that they announced the closure. And I walked into this shop, and I had two of the barbers that work here crying in the break room. They didn't know how they were going to feed their family. So they just kind of looked at me, and at that moment, I had to make a decision what we were going to do. And was I really going to go home and be able to sleep well, knowing that I might be good. I might be lucky enough to, I don't want to say have like the nest egg, but lucky enough to be resourceful to the point where maybe they aren't resourceful, and really strictly dependent on the haircut that they do that week. So we made some tough calls, some difficult decisions, but I think that we went from the highest peak, like I said earlier, the highest peak to the lowest peak. I mean, I didn't see this coming at all, and I definitely wouldn't have invested. Maybe I would have, but it just made it that more impactful. If I would have had a year of it being open before the shutdown, I would have had something to kind of sustain it. But at that moment, when you're opening a business, those first 3 months are crucial in marketing. And now comes a pandemic that we literally couldn't market because we would get flagged. So it just made it a million times more difficult. And if you aren't a real hustler, if you're not living it, if you would have definitely crashed and burned. And the problems with the pandemic are still lingering. Everybody thinks that because you get to open your door, everything is fine and dandy. But there's lasting effects to being in the midst of a pandemic that are still to this day. We're not back to normal. We're not full operational. There's moments that the shops are doing great, and there's moments where the economy reminds you that it's crap, homelessness around the area, all this other stuff. But when it comes to opening up a shop during a pandemic, they made it impossible.
So what can we expect of Generation Cuts? Now you have two. Do you have plans for more barbershops?
Yes. I didn't go to school for this, which is why the hesitation is there. There's a lot of things that you really have to right your wrongs. Okay. So, you look on your Instagram post, and it's like a lot of these business quotes, right? It was just like, jump off the cliff and build the ladder on the way down. That shit sounds cute. Let me tell you, in real life, it is way more uncute than that. And I think that's the part where I am right now, where we expanded, we grew, but I also have to go back and heal a lot of the things that were caused because of my mistakes, because of what I didn't know. And that's where I'm stuck at right now. Now, the plan is towards the end of the year, I want to buy my mom's beauty salon off of her so that she can retire. So that is in the works. So once I get the beauty salon, I'll decide keep it a beauty salon, and it'll be like Generation Beauty House. Or we can flip it over to the barbershop. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And that kind of leads us to our last piece, which is, what last advice do you want to give to anyone that's watching this who might want to start a business?
Shit.
I know you've given so many good advice already.
No, I'm not saying that. I just feel bad for them if that's what they want.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. have a checklist and just make sure that it's for you. Are you mentally strong enough? Can you take criticism and still, like, my lady hates it, but there's certain things that she advises me not to do, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna consider that. And the next day, I did it, and she's just like, what? Oh my God, didn't I just tell you not to? One of the biggest things is, can you act upon your convictions? If you can't, if you get manipulated by your wife or husband, business is not for you. Because number one, the amount of time that it takes, energy, effort. You're on vacation, you see a restaurant, you start taking down notes. Oh, look at their decor, and oh, I would like to add something like that. You're never fully connected to your spouse. You're never fully connected to your kids. Because there's a 20% storage in your brain that's strictly for the business ideas and marketing. And look at this flyer. Oh, this was so creative. Oh, I want to do that. So the first one I would say is, can you act upon your own convictions? If you can't, don't do it. Like, if you can easily get manipulated, if your wife's like, well, if you keep doing this, then you're out of the house. If you keep, it's just like, it's a commitment to the point where, your life is gonna evolve all around the business. And I do it for my family. We have great vacations. I mean, I'm a family guy first, like I said. Normally Sundays are untouchable, which is why she's angry that I'm here right now.
Thank you. You're watching.
Yeah, but it's about convictions. And then secondly, after that aspect, I would say, being mentally tough is first, and then being able to have your character and not be changed. Now, even though things can arise and you can modify yourself, you always want to stay true to who you are. Hopefully you're a good person, which I guess that would be even more important. If you're a douchebag, don't open businesses, because we don't need extensions of douchebags in society. I think that's important. Just to go to the mirror and say, do you like helping people? Can you sustain the years where you're not making a penny? You're reinvesting everything. Everyone thinks you're making money, your first years, and you're just right there eating top ramen, and they swear because they see this is a great asset, but I can't take an asset right now and use it for cash leverage unless I were to go to get a loan and have collateral, my shop or something like that. But if I'm spending every penny in making the shop look better, or the shops look better, or reinvesting into a new shop, that's not money. I can't go to McDonald's right now and be like, look, I have a chair. I'll give you the arm of this chair for 2 number 5s. So are you okay being poor? Because if you're getting into business and you think that it's automatically going to be a lot of streams of money flowing in, you're so crazy. And whatever drug you're doing, go to rehab, because it really isn't the case. So that to me is a big one for new business owners, or if you're even considering it. How long can you be poor? How long can you continue to reinvest until your idea pops, until it starts to return on you? And are you prepared for your wife? Oh, this is a big one. This is a huge one. Okay. Can you take the criticism of your own household? Because let's say that you saved up a couple $1,000s for some reason. And then you're like, your first thought as a business owner is, man, if we throw an event, I can get a comedian, or I can do this. We can get a petting zoo and it'll attract more business. And she's right there like, we haven't done shit in the last year. What are you talking about? Like, there's things that need to be done here. And, not my lady, because she's an angel from heaven. But, I can imagine other people's spouses where it's just like they almost feel insulted. Like, why are we going through all of this if the second we start to make some money, we're not going to enjoy it? And that criticism from inside your own home, if you don't have the toughest of helmets on, forget about it. You're not cut out for this, like, for this type of life. So yeah, that's what my suggestion would be. The financial and all that stuff, go YouTube it. But I mean, for me in general, the first years that I did the shop, I'm telling my lady, I'm gonna work from 12-hour shift from 8 to 8, but I'm gonna be at Target from 7 to 8, and then I'm gonna go back to Target from 8 to 9 to pass out flyers. She already feels that she didn't see me all day.
Yeah.
She already feels that she's raising the children on her own. Like, there's so much that gets compounded to where it's just like, you know why you started, you know your vision, and you know what price you're willing to pay. If you're not willing to pay the ultimate sacrifices to watch your baby blossom and grow, then it's not for you. It's not your life. It's not, go work somewhere, because that is a big one where and here's the thing, your dream is your dream. Your spouse's dream is a whole nother. I know your husband. I don't think you to his level. You know what I mean? He's next level, trying to get bodybuilder.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I bet you if I talk to him about fitness, it's not gonna sound like when I talk to you about fitness.
Yeah.
That's his dream. That's his thing. And maybe if we talk about what you're doing, your eyes will glow, and his will just be like, yeah, she likes it. So you talk to me, you ask me about business, and I'm just like, all right, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You might ask my lady, and she's like, yeah, he likes it. Like, it's his thing. So you have to be prepared to have a vision that no one's gonna understand. Sometimes not even the person you sleep next to is gonna understand why you're gonna get up, 2 hours early to pass out flyers. Why you're gonna, stay an hour late to have a meeting with your team, but you've already been there for 14 hours or 15 hours. But when they see me, I hope they see a dad that would give his right arm for his businesses, because I really would. And if people are watching, they're like, well, I don't know if I'd give my right arm for the success of my business. Go put in applications, touch up your resume, because this isn't for you. So that's, I guess, how I would end it.
Well, we just want to say thank you so much to you and your wife for letting us borrow him. No, but definitely thank you so much for inviting us out here, for being so welcoming and sharing so much knowledge, because I think you really shared a lot with us. And we're going to put this all down in the description as well, but why don't you just tell them where they can find your shops or find you on social media if they want to come get a cut.
Yeah, come get a cut. Send your husband, send your boyfriend, sons, Sanchos. We keep all secrets. Don't worry, it's a barbershop. But yeah, it's generation_cuts would be the Instagram. I don't have anything else. So we have that, and then you can find us in Winnetka and Canoga, 2 locations, 1 family, and hopefully soon Chatsworth. So keep an eye out on that.
Stay tuned, possibly, ladies. Stay tuned. All right. Well,
thank you guys.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.